Morning all. I was taking a peek outside today and it looks like I've got some snapdragon cutting to do, so we're gonna go do that. With the beautiful, vibrant, and bright flowers I was able to pick, I made the most decadent and gorgeous bouquet. I actually kept this one for myself, and it is just so beautiful and so gorgeous. Next up, to take you around to some of the duties and infrastructure maintenance that we do around here. First up is compost duty, and so Paul is going to kind of show what we do on a weekly basis. So it usually involves us watering down the compost and mixing all of the different layers up to make sure that everything's getting nice and incorporated and breaking down, so that maybe at some point in time we'll have some nice rich compost to use on our flower beds. Here he is just dumping some of the extra scraps we had left over from the kitchen, and then he's rinsing out this bucket to make certain there's no mold or food residue left behind. Next up is netting and staking. So this is something that I have to do in order to kind of keep the winds at bay for some of these plants. Otherwise the winds would easily topple a lot of these taller growing plants over, like my snapdragons and sunflowers. So it involves just putting some wooden stakes in and just stretching some of the nylon netting out that we have. This next one is a very different project. So first off, Paul is cutting down some large sections of rebar for me here. We then stake those into the ground. And then using some fiberglass poles, we create essentially our own hoops. On this particular one, we were using zip ties, but I will show you here in just a moment what we ended up switching to as a different alternative, because these zip ties just kept kind of moving everything around and weren't holding up to the weather. So as you can see here, Paul replaced those with those cable ties. That's a photo of them there if you're interested, but this kept everything way more sturdier and didn't, allow those fiberglass poles to just kind of slide around. Once that is set up, we then pull the shade cloth over top of those makeshift tunnels or hoops or whatever you want to call them. And then Paul, in this case, is just rolling up some of the excess, which we then end up clipping onto the fiberglass pole just to keep everything together. This works as a form of pest control as well as sunshade for a lot of those flowers that just absolutely cannot tolerate the high UV rays out here. This is our makeshift way. Obviously, there's more expensive ways you can do this, but that is just our workaround. Something we haven't really talked about much, and I didn't get much footage, was actually us revamping the entire yard and laying down tons and tons of mulch and fresh new soil. The other thing is also running all of the irrigation in our yard. So these are very inexpensive kits. You can definitely go more expensive depending on what you want or need. We're a little bit smaller, so this one seems to be working so far. Look at these guys. I picked these earlier this week and oh my gosh, they are in just a massive display of just vibrancy. This bouquet is absolutely stunning, and this was a lot of my excess snapdragons that were just ready to go. Instead of keeping them out there, I wanted to go ahead and get them trimmed off that way that I could at least have some flowers coming in behind. But I'm enjoying this bouquet this week, but I do have some pretty interesting news. So before I went to bed on Friday, I was looking around at what I had available outside, and I did have another flush of snapdragons coming in that had to be used. Obviously, I have a gorgeous bouquet for myself, and so I was looking around to see what else I had coming in. I had bee balm coming in, my oleanders were like in full bloom, and so I made that just kind of on the whim decision to just go ahead and make some bouquets. So with that native foliage and with the stuff coming in, I was able to make 3. I can only hold 2 because I have 2 hands, but I made 3 decadent, just lovely wildflower bouquets. Unfortunately, I don't have that nice focal point flower like a dahlia or a zinnia or a sunflower, but the sunflowers are coming there maybe a week or 2 out. So I went ahead, made some of these up, and so we're gonna see if they sell today. I know these are pretty crazy looking, but I am kind of giving myself free creativity to go a little bit extreme. I'm not counting stems currently at this point because a lot of this is based on seeing what is going to survive in vase life as well. And so that was one thing, a caveat I did kind of give to the customer base that I posted out to, is that some of these might last a day, some of these might last, a week or so. So that is the caveat if they are interested in buying. The price point did reflect that as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to see if I get any hits on these today. I'm just trying my super local area just around me in my immediate vicinity before I start branching out into other areas. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff. So I'm officially out on market now. Flower friends, you'll have to stay tuned for the next video to see if I sold anything. See you next time. Take care.